Welcome to the weekly shir, or kind of weekly shir, of the Zera Shimshon. I apologize because last 2 weeks I was very sick. I was actually, 2 weeks ago, I was in the hospital with cellulitis. It was not fun, and I'm still very weak, so I'm going to do a very short one today. And it's the 7th of Av, Menachem Av. And I just wanted to mention that Rabbi Raphael Avitan, who's a big makubal over here, pointed out that the Abda Rabbi said that this Shabbos is one of the greatest Shabbos of the entire year. It has the possibility to elevate all of your prayers that didn't get elevated from the entire year. So it's very Heilige Shabbos. Keep that in mind when you're davening or whatever you're doing. The sound of the voice. V'yishma Hashem es koil divreichem v'yiktzov v'yishova yilamor. Hashem heard the sound of your words, and he was incensed, and he swore, saying, why does the Torah need to use the word koil, the sound of your words? Clearly there is a lesson there that we are meant to learn from this seemingly extra word, since the Torah could just have said, Hashem heard your words. Zera Shimshon explains this by turning him into a pasuk in Sefer Eov. Eov's friend Eliho tells him, I am full of words. The spirit inside my belly distresses me. It's a pasuk in Eov 32:18. Sometimes a person can't stop himself from giving his friend a piece of his mind. His stomach or his heart is full, and he can't hold himself back from speaking. In such a case, a person shouldn't pay attention to the words emerging from his friend's mouth, because they are coming from a place of anger. But Eov's friend implied that he had a very important reason for saying what he was about to say. Although, as he said, I am filled with words, the spirit inside my belly distresses me, which showed that he couldn't restrain himself from telling his friend that what he thought. He had added, after saying that he wanted to say, what he wanted to say, lend your ears to the sound of my words, which means he was pretty upset. In other words, listen to the voice, the sound, to the underlying intonation of what I'm saying, and not just to the words themselves. Don't think that because I am angry, my words are not worth hearing. Instead, pay attention to the voice, the level-headed tone of what I am saying to you, and you will understand that everything I'm telling you is important. If Eov's friend would have only had said, listen to my words, Eov would have turned away and not paid any attention. Why should he listen to someone who has just admitted that he is very emotional and upset? That is why the friend stressed that Eov should pay attention not just to the words themselves, but to the sound of the words, to their implications and the way that he was expressing himself. Pay attention, he was saying, and you will understand that everything I am saying is for your own good. Although my words may appear to be harsh, if you stop and listen, really listen to my tone, you will understand that I have your best interest at heart. Says Zera Shimshon, this is what Moshe Rabbeinu was saying when he said, Hashem heard the sound of your words. The Jewish people had vilified Hashem by sinning with the spies. To some extent, they weren't responsible for their words, since they were frightened by the description of Eretz Yisrael that the spies gave them. The fear caused them to lose themselves and speak in a way that was inappropriate. The problem, Moshe said to them, was that Hashem was listening not only to your words, but to the sound of your voices, your intonation. When you spoke, it was with Yeshiva Das. You weren't confused. You knew exactly what you were saying, and you expressed your feelings pointedly. choosing your words to express maximum disrespect. This is why Hashem was angry at you for denouncing the land. Not so much because of what you said. In theory, a case could be made that you were speaking out of fear, but because of the way you stated your complaints, deliberately and with a cool head. The fact that you knew exactly what you were doing and saying, says Moshe Rabbeinu, made everything that you said infinitely worse. So we have a little segula today. It says, I mentioned earlier that there are countless Magidei Shir who go out of their way to deliver shirim in the Sefer Zera Shimshon all over the world. They do this because they feel achrayus for their brothers and sisters and want to help them in any way possible. One such Magid Shir is Rabbi Eliyahu Gross, Rosh Koilel Zichron Shmuel, from Bat Ramat Beit Shemesh. Rabbi Gross delivers a shir in Zera Shimshon via Skype to a group of Talmidim in Gibraltar, which includes people from other countries, England, USA, France, and Eretz Yisrael. The shir is delivered in English and is also uploaded into Lashon Kol HaLashon. The shir is delivered every Monday and Thursday. Rabbi Gross has 3 chavrusas who help him prepare for these extremely successful bi-weekly shir, which boasts quite a few participants. One of these chavrusas, a friend named Reb Towil, of course he's a Cohen, who had been learning with Rabbi Gross for many years. When they began learning together, Reb Towil mentioned to Rabbi Gross that he was hoping to see Yeshua to the Indian of Parnassa. He'd heard how numerous people had been on the receiving end of all sorts of Yeshuas, and he hoped that learning the Sefer would be a zechus for him as well. About a month and a half after the two of them had been learning together, Rabbi Gross asked his chavrusa how things were going financially. "It's funny that you should ask," Reb Towil replied. "What do you mean?" "As a Kohen, I have a source of revenue that's unavailable to the average individual." "What's that?" He says, Rabbi Eliyahu asked his friend, "I can perform pidyon haben for people who need them to redeem their firstborn children. However, there are a lot of Kohanim in Eretz Yisrael, and not that many people celebrating a pidyon haben. At best, I was being asked to officiate at a pidyon haben once every half a year, or even less frequently. But in the last month and a half, we began learning Zera Shimshon together. I have been asked to serve as a Kohen at a pidyon haben no less than 6 times. Being a Kohen is paid 500 or 600 shekels a time. I made an extra 3,000 shekels in 6 weeks alone. There's no question in my mind that being asked to officiate 6 times a month and a half is not a natural occurrence, and that I have been the recipient of an extra special dose of siyata d'shmaya. May everybody be blessed, and we're still praying for those people that are chasuche banim, and may they be quickly and speedily in our times responded. And that maybe, who knows, there could be one of these children could be the Mashiach himself. All right, I got a good Shabbos, Menachamav, and have a good Nechama, Yeshua's Korev. Kol Tov.